Okay. I think we've admitted all our participants. We can get started. Welcome again. Next slide, please. So thanks for joining the LMS Transformation Town Hall. This is the second one for the month of May. We had our first one on Monday, and I believe the recording for that is available, as well as the slides that are going to be identical for today's. So next slide, please. I'll walk you through some housekeeping. Live at the end of the meeting. And all questions and answers will be documented, answered and uploaded to the FAQ section of the LMS Transformation website. So we're not using the raised hand feature. Please enter your questions in the Q&A. And as always, a copy of the presentation deck and recording will be available on our website following the meeting. Today's agenda, we have a couple of welcome remarks. Jeff and I will cover the state of the program update. Jeff will talk about the course journey web application, and Ava will provide the feature activity, which is a Canvas demo, and then hopefully we'll have ample time for Q&A. Before we get started, we want to take a moment and remember Jan Rive. She passed away 3 weeks ago. We lost Jan, who was a dedicated leader, dear colleague, and a friend. Honestly, it's hard to believe that she's no longer with us. And I know most of you out there knew her and are probably grieving this loss. And my deepest condolences go out to all of you who knew her and were friends with her. Jan, for those of you who don't know, Jan was a historian who served UCLA in many roles and helped usher teaching in this into this digital new age. Many of us learned about this project from Jan and agreed to be part of it because we believed in her great vision for transformation, transforming teaching and learning at UCLA. Although some of us are still processing this loss, I invite you to join me. Jeff?
I think I would just add that we know that Jan also had many conversations across campus about not just the IT part of this transformation, but even more than that, the teaching and learning opportunities that it provides. And the program team and Lucy and I are committed to following through on those. And we would love to hear from folks that want to pick up those conversations, maybe in a different way, but still are interested in and committed to the things that were discussed. And so we just wanted to let you know that we would love to hear from you about the ideas that you had for teaching and learning that maybe you had shared with Jan or were talking with her about as well. Those are very important to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, to start our session today, we would like to walk you through this roadmap that we've created for the project. The key on the right side highlights the technical activities, identifies the student go lives and transformation activities. The ones in the start of the roadmap are grayed out because we've accomplished those tasks. Requirements have been gathered for our Canvas configuration. Monthly newsletter cadence has been established. We have had dean meetings, and then we have started our monthly town halls in April, and this is our second set. I want to share with you some key technical activities that we're focused on: the Canvas platform development and Canvas basic configuration, which we anticipate to complete this summer in preparation for summer go live. At the dark blue diamonds, the summer go live is anticipated, as I said, June of the staff will be for all winter courses. There are some exceptions, and we could discuss that if needed. The yellow flags highlight transformation activities. Going back to the beginning of our roadmap, we faculty champion and academic unit engagement. So we've developed course journey plans, and we're working closely with our partners in every academic unit. We will provide Canvas training starting next month for staff and support. Also, course journey selection, starting June, we will offer a course journey selection application, which we'll talk about, and that'll allow our faculty members to identify the type of journey they prefer for the courses that they teach, whether it's lift and shift, it's enhancement, or a complete redesign and reimagining of the course. We'll have a slide on that as well. We do have a slide on that as well. Learning design support, so starting summer of 2021 for faculty, instructors, and TA. We will offer Canvas training for faculty, instructors, and TAs starting September, and all access will be provided for faculty, instructors, and TAs in September, October as well. Next slide, please. Here I want to highlight several key accomplishments. We have staffed the program lead roles and have onboarded 23 of 44 new program team members. We've completed all kickoff meetings with deans and launched academic unit engagement meetings. And we have finalized design for course journey web app, which Jeff will talk about shortly. And we have formed a software committee or working group that which will help us identify the platforms that Canvas will need to integrate with to provide a holistic LMS offering for the campus. Next slide.
Okay, before I talk about what's next, just briefly to answer the question in the Q&A, faculty champions are advocates for the program and conduits for information to go both from the central project to the individual units and in the other direction. And they'll work with staff, academic unit leaders. In both cases, these staff and faculty champions have been selected by the deans. And if you're in a unit and are not aware who they are, you can take a look at the LMS website. We can put the URL in the Q&A later. And if for some reason you haven't been contacted, please feel free to reach out to the team and we'll do that. There are a few units that are still have conversations or selections of those leaders in progress. But just a quick answer on the one that's out there for now. So what's coming up next in the project is that we'll go live with a couple of courses for the online Masters in Health Administration on June 18th. And so this is a pre-pilot activity that gets us going with the platform and is helping the team to validate what's being set up. The training materials and resources that are being prepared are setting us up for a launch of training along with sandbox access on the platform. So the ability to experiment with the platform on July 1st. We are continuing these ongoing conversations with academic unit leaders and faculty champions that we alluded to a moment ago. And through work with the software committee and on the program team, we're starting to finalize the tools and software integrations that'll be available for fall quarter and then looking ahead to the winter. And so those are things like Kaltura and other types of integrations that sit on Canvas in the same way or similar way to what they did with Moodle CCLE. At the same time, the course migration is an important part of the project, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment, but we are starting to run the testing process to move existing course material from the last 2 years over to Canvas in an automated way so that faculty will have access to that at the start of the program. We're targeting September 1st for that. We can go forward to the next slide. And as I go here, just a quick pause. We noticed a lot of the questions on Monday were about some of the motivations for switching to Canvas. And so we're happy, if you're new to the conversation about Canvas, we're happy to cover that in the Q&A and go back through some of the material that we've shared previously about the motivation for the move. We're not going to go through this org chart in the town hall, but we wanted to just share with you that the program team is being assembled now, and there are 4 different areas: academic focus, connected to instructional design, technology team putting the platform together, the beginning of the center of excellence that'll provide support to the campus, in coordination with Canvas and vendor support, and then organizational change management, which is the communications and outreach part of the program that's critical to engaging with the individual units. And they're handling, for example, the meetings with the faculty champions, academic unit leads, deans, and so forth. The only thing that I wanted to point out also on here is that the team makeup involves lots of people from UCLA and UC, which is exciting for us in trying to do as much of this work as we can in-house. And for the remaining roles, we're posting externally, but also still looking for people within the campus and UC communities that would be interested in participating. You can go to the next slide. Some of those opportunities that we wanted to highlight are we will imminently publish a call for graduate teaching and learning assistants that will work with the instructional design and academic team to support the faculty transition. We've already posted for undergraduate student opportunities to help support course migration. And then 2 management positions that we wanted to highlight are a health sciences transition lead that will help integrate and develop the strategy for the transition of the health sciences units. And then the LTI manager, which is the person responsible for the tool set that sits on top of Canvas that I mentioned earlier. We can go to the next slide. So next, we wanted to mention something coming up before the end of the academic quarter, which is the Course Journey web app. You can go to the next slide. You might recall that faculty are going to be invited to make a choice. Let's actually go forward 1 slide and then we'll come back to this. Faculty are going to be invited to select or envision a journey for each of their courses. The simplest being lift and shift, which is to take the automatically migrated material from CCLE and go forward with that for the time being. The other 2 are to make enhancements to the course based on not just what's possible in Canvas, but things they might have learned and wanted to incorporate from the last year of remote instruction or other thoughts they've had about the course. And then finally, to even redesign or reimagine an existing or new course. And the last 2 options here involve support from the central project along with unit level teaching and learning support to make those updates. An important part of this project is thinking through how to support innovations in teaching and learning on the platform and modifications to the courses. But one of the things that's critical for the project to understand is how many faculty want to take these longer journeys or more complex journeys with the courses. And at what point in the next year. And so now if we go back 1 slide, what we're going to do is provide a app in MyUCLA that will let faculty indicate their preference for the course journey. And this should launch in early June. It'll list your existing courses, allow you to enter courses that are planned but not yet in the registrar's system, and indicate your preference for the level of consultation and potentially redesign once the Canvas platform is available. This will help us plan not just outreach to individual faculty, but the resources to be able to support the more involved transition. So keep an eye out for this. We can go forward now 2 slides, and you'll see instructions on how to access this app coming out pretty soon, and happy to answer questions about that during the Q&A period. Can go on to the next slide. Okay, and so a highlight of the town hall is to start looking at Canvas, and this generated a ton of questions that was fantastic to see in the last town hall. So I'll turn it over to Ava to just start doing a little bit of demonstration of the Canvas platform for those who aren't familiar with it.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you first some courses that have run at UCLA for a while due to ILTI and are using UCOP's Canvas. And then I'm going to use a workshop that my unit developed for instructors who want to move to online courses in Canvas, just because I can show you more things that don't involve student data in that site. So this is what it looks like. This is a landing page. Canvas, the main difference in Canvas navigation is that it uses something called modules, which is just a term that Canvas decided to use for basically a unit. A lot of people equate it with, it could also be equated to a week, but any kind of collection of materials And so most courses use modules as weeks or units of material they want the student to go through. We often put an introductory module with just information. This kind of like a 0-week practice that they would need to go through. It gives them some information about how to get around the course site, how they might be graded, who their instructor is, how to use Zoom, that kind of basic setup. And then they have some modules that they can work through where they have quizzes and often video, some homeworks, things like that. I can show you another example of this. Like Moodle, Canvas also has quizzes. And the quiz functionality is largely the same. So you would have different types of questions that you could include. My internet's being slow. You have to select an answer, a true false question, fill in the blank. Again, very similar in functionality. And this is just, there's also grades, which I'm not going to show you in this class because it's actual students, and assignments. And I'll just give you a different example here. This is a history course, it's at least in English instead of Catalan. And same idea, an introductory module, again, going through what the students would do every week. This one has some lecture videos and some assignments. So one thing that is nice about Canvas is, and I'll show you this with the student with the other course in a second, but it produces a to-do list over here that for me, because I'm sort of more of an instructor type in this course, it tells me that I need to grade something. This course is actually from a couple years ago, so don't worry. I'm sure it got graded. But if you were a student, it would show you what you needed to do, upcoming assignments. And there's also a calendar function where you can see all the events for the course. Oh, well, this is doing, okay, I'll show you this here. So again, here's the coming up what you need to do. That course is old, so it wasn't populating the current calendar. But here you go, here's an example of a calendar with all the course events that the students can see, as they go through the month or the week, whatever view they select. Something else that's nice about the quizzes is you can modify them if you have a student who is, had some issue and couldn't take the quiz or is late. If you go to moderate, you can always take any student and give them extra attempts or more time for if that's something that they need. And another feature I wanted to show was some analytics that are available. So if you go to the analytics page in any course, you can see sort of the grades students are getting. You can see activity for the week. There's kind of like high points often when assignments are due, what people are looking at. And then you can also get individual student data, how much time they spent looking at the pages, the last time they logged in. The number of participations is kind of the number of actions that they took in the course. And then you can also get reports of individual students. Okay, I'll just stop there for a second and see if people have questions. I'm not tracking the QA, but. Yes, we will still be using Kaltura to host video that connects with Canvas, and you can export grades. The gradebook I can show you here. There's a couple nice features of that. One of those is something called Speed Grader, and which is a nice grading interface. When students submit an assignment, you have some opportunities for grading. You can draw directly on the text and leave a comment. You can circle things, you can highlight things, you can write up a grade, add a comment, you can comment with voice, with video, or with an attachment if you like. You also always have the option to download any assignment if you prefer not to do it on the computer. And any grade that you enter here will appear in the gradebook automatically. So it's a nice, interface is kind of similar to Turnitin, which I think most people here are familiar with. But it allows you to just sort of tab through your students and comment here and grade them like that. So it's a feature people tend to like. Okay, I'm just checking the question. Zoom is going to be integrated with Canvas, this similarly to how it's integrated currently in Moodle. Just trying to catch the question. Turnitin and Gradescope will also be available. So in terms of, I know Turnitin is an integration they're currently working on, and Ajit, feel free to chime in here. Gradescope, I think, is also something that's coming. I know that UCLA is developing a new software group that's looking at LTIs and what will be added to Canvas. So
yeah, I think maybe if I can just speak briefly about
yes, go ahead.
about integrations, the way that there's an advisory committee for the project that has a software work group, and what that group will be looking at are both the existing tool, or is already looking at, are the existing tools that are available in CCLE and sort of the state of the art and best that are available out there, and trying to develop the right subset for the campus. And so this is so we're expecting to provide the same functionality and in many cases the same tools. And then we will be working with the individual academic unit leads and faculty champions to vet sort of tool choices as they, as they might affect the unit. One of the nice things about Canvas is also the possibility of individual units selecting or funding tools that still have to be approved by the campus processes, but can get incorporated into Canvas just for that unit. So there's quite a bit of flexibility on tools, and seems like maybe we can have a later town hall that reviews the process for tool integration into Canvas and what it might look like going forward. But the general idea is that the same type of functionality will be available, and potentially units will be able to customize the tool set available beyond the minimum that's provided to Campus.
Okay, just checking on the questions here.
And the most of the rest of our agenda is Q&A here, so we're happy to go through the questions.
Okay, and if there's anything else you'd all like to see, just ask and I'm happy to show it to you.
And I'll answer live the question from Christine about discussion with writing programs. So the conversations that have happened so far have been with for example, the humanities division rather than individual departments, and we're relying on the individual dean's offices, faculty champions, and academic unit leads to help gather the input from the rest of the departments and subunits within those larger divisions. But we're more than happy to hear from people about specific needs within certain programs. And so there are a couple ways to do that outreach. One is to email the main program email address on the website and just indicate interest, especially if you're already doing some type of organization or planning on behalf of the unit. We'd love to hear, or on behalf of the area, we'd love to hear from you and can plug it into the conversation that's happening with those units. So hopefully that explains where the outreach has been so far, and we're more than happy though to get and field questions from everyone. All right, we can maybe run through the rest of the questions here. Which instructional design model are you using when preparing online or hybrid courses? Ava, do you want to answer that? I think.
Sure, I'm wondering on a little more clarity on that. Instructional design for both would, adhere to similar things, meaning that we would certainly make, accessibility as a priority, and engagement is another one of the things that we always try to have some interaction and back and forth between the students and each other, and the students and the faculty, and the students and the TA. So it's not just something you go and read and walk away from, or turn your stuff in and walk away, right? So there's interaction amongst the community of the course, and a clear structure and instructions to the students is available, and so they have a good idea of what they're supposed to be doing in their course at any time. So hopefully those are some basics. You can ask more.
Yeah, and I guess just more generally too, I think the intent is to allow faculty to explore different models for offering courses within the platform. And so beyond the templates and support that are provided by the project, there'll be opportunities to do different things as well.
Yeah. And so a couple questions came up in the chat that I can answer quickly. I can show discussion forums. Canvas does have a discussion forum. And as to the integration with Slack, I know there is an integration between Canvas and Slack. I don't think that has been fully set up yet, and I'm not sure if it will work exactly the same as the integration with Moodle, but I know that that's something that's coming. But I can show you the discussion forum.
And I think more as it was getting set up to do that, sort of the idea of exactly what tool to provide or set of tools to provide for discussion forums is still an open conversation within the software work group and the program team. And so if there are ideas or comments on what works well and what doesn't work, and in particular integration with Slack and other tools that are now available on campus, we would love to hear that.
So here's a sample discussion. This asks people to post video, actually, which is something that you can do. And participants can comment, and the discussions can be graded. They can be assigned only to a particular section. They can, there are a lot of options with discussion sections, and how you set them up compared to your course, dependent on your particular course. But this is what the basic discussion section looks, or discussion forum looks like. And you can see you can add images or video and things like that. Just checking. Collaboration sites will also be migrated. And yes, let me find quickly an example of rubric.
While Ava's looking for that, I'll go ahead and answer a few questions in our chat. It says, will Turnitin and Gradescope be available as well for submissions? Turnitin will be activated this summer in the Canvas platform, and then Gradescope is still under consideration as to whether it will be at the enterprise level or sub-account level. Handing it over to you, Ava.
Yep. Okay, so here's a rubric. You can add, if you want to edit a rubric, you can add categories and explanation of those categories, the points, how they would work, how the points would add up. You can, once you have rubrics, you can attach them to any assignment in the course. You can also export them to other courses. And then the rubric is something that both the students and the instructors see when they see the assignment and in the gradebook. So it's a nice way to have standards and communicate expectations across the TAs, the instructors, the students, and have that be coherent across the course. And I'll just show you how this would appear in the gradebook. Again, this isn't so you can get the rubric right here, and then you can put the points in here and it will populate the grade book, and then everyone is seeing that as they're looking at the assignment. This person didn't upload their assignment entirely, but it appears here for everyone. All right, more questions.
Okay.
Yes, Canvas has peer review. Respondus is definitely one of the tools that we're looking at. There is a way to connect discussions to gradebook in Canvas, so you can give people points for discussions.
All right, great.
Sorry, I'm
Next
trying
up, that's okay, Ava, I'll use that to you to help out. The School of
It's
Medicine
okay.
is currently on Elantra because it addresses specific concerns. Health sciences education, as far as I know, they're not interested in moving to Canvas. Is that this team's understanding as well, that they will be allowed to remain outside the Canvas tent? I believe that might be a question for Lucy and Jeff.
Jeff, you want to?
Sure. I don't know if the answer is going to be concrete enough, but we're still, the School of Medicine is one of the schools in that health sciences group that we are working on a comprehensive strategy for. And so as far as I understand it, there's no decision in either direction. And we expect to have a conversation about Canvas soon and continue some conversations in the other units that are already happening. So that may not answer the question as directly as you wanted, but I don't think there's any decision that we're aware of not to potentially move to Canvas in the future. I think there are some license agreements and other things at play there as well that Lucy may be able to say more about.
No, I agree with everything you said. So the answer is we really don't know yet, and we are going to connect with the dean as well as with Digit stakeholders and leadership. So more to come in the future town halls.
All right. We have a next one. I've been looking for a way in larger classes to give a point automatically for participation in discussion forums. Is there a way in Canvas to connect forum postings to the gradebook in this way?
Yes, you can make discussion posts. Discussion is what Canvas calls forums. Graded, yes. So you could give them participation points, or you could give them a grade for content, however you wanted to do it.
Okay. And the next question, will Canvas allow live monitoring while in Respondus lockdown browser?
So my understanding of lockdown browser is that it locks down a browser for a student taking an exam, and it doesn't include live monitoring. So I'm not sure, but I know that Campus is looking at a variety of testing, exam monitoring systems currently, and there will be a solution that covers both of those options.
All right, and I noticed Ajit, who's the tech team lead, has been answering a few questions as well. I just wanted to highlight there was a question about TA sites, and there is a TA functionality. It's a little bit different, but we'll have some, I think, demonstration of that soon since it's come up regularly. And I think there was a question about will Canvas be better integrated with Gradebook on MyUCLA than CCLE? It would be great to know a bit more about that. Okay, so Anthony asks says right now it's hard to make grading scheme and Gradebook match the assignments in CCLE, so you have to score students for different assignments in two different places. I think unless there's a specific answer from the team, this is probably something we should take and follow up in more detail on the integration. I don't know, Ajit, if you know yet.
Hi, Jeff. Yes, I will follow up on this.
Okay, so yeah, thanks for that comment, and we'll hope to come back with an answer that it will be better, but we'll let you know either way. And Ava, do you want to answer the next question about the role of faculty, or do you want me to?
No, I can take a shot at that. So anytime we design a course, we work with faculty. So usually the process would be something like, if you get in touch with the LMS transformation team or online teaching and learning or various teaching and learning entities across campus. And you could make an appointment and at least have an initial meeting with an instructional designer to kind of plot out what it was you wanted to do with your course and the kinds of things you were looking to enable with the students in the online platform. And then we would make a plan of how to achieve that. And that usually the difference in designing an online course usually has to do with the amount of collaboration that you do. It's not as much of a solo act as teaching live. So, you know, we might set you up with a video producer if you want to film some videos, or if you want to do them at home, we could have some video editing for you. And then just generally plotting out how the students will tackle all the tasks and activities that you would like to have in your course, and what's the best format for them to be able to do that online or hybrid. You know, and that can involve lots of discussions and a mix of styles of things and different tools. And it really is down to the individual course and what the needs and desires are on the part of the faculty. I hope that answers the question.
Next question, it says, we have an app that calls Moodle web service to download the syllabus of a course. Will we have access to Canvas API in the near future? Ajit, would we be able to ask you?
I will need to follow up with my team, but I will make sure to take a note of this.
Thank you, Bernard. We'll be sure to follow up with you.
All right, we'll wait here a little bit for any other questions. And I did want to also, okay, here's one. I did want to also invite people that would like to go through some of the Canvas motivations if you haven't been to one of these before. If we have time at the end, I'll go ahead and bring those up as well. Go ahead, Jennifer, sorry.
That's okay. Will Canvas be made available to student affairs departments as well? Our department has explored opportunities similar to Canvas to lead employee student trainings and offer courses, classes to student, faculty, staff. Examples include video libraries, asynchronous courses, and live streaming classes. Additionally, would Canvas be able to accommodate fee-for-service programs?
So this is a question that we've, in particular, supporting fee-for-service programs. This is a question that's already come up and we're looking into it. So the focus of the program has been supporting the academic enterprise initially, but we will definitely take this into the program team and see if we can clarify it and let people know who else the platform can be available to. So thank you very much.
Ava, do you want to answer this next one online? Oh, you just deleted. All right. A question, and maybe you just answer it out loud, and maybe we have multiple
sure, that's
test
fine.
accounts.
So yes, we have test accounts already, and that will be available.
Great.
All right, I'm going to take a moment here to share the slides on the Canvas motivation from the previous town hall, but feel free to keep sharing questions in the Q&A. Okay, just making sure that everybody can see my screen. Great. So if you're new to this conversation and you haven't seen these before, thought it might be useful to just quickly review some of the higher level reasons behind the switch to Canvas. The first is a sort of stronger tool set that I think, as you can see from the demonstration with Ava, provides some additional flexibility in how courses can be organized, provides some approaches to template courses that can be used to replicate organizational strategies or branding and other things across courses within a given unit or a given area, is easier to use in particular across platforms. And so you can see at the bottom, the enhanced student experience, which was an important part of the consideration, is that it has strong support for mobile devices. And so with more and more people accessing course content either on phones or tablets, as well as laptops and at their desk. In other ways, we wanted to make sure, and I think the campus in evaluating the platform from the very beginning, wanted to make sure it could deliver well to those different platforms. When the platform was reviewed, I think now several years ago, it was looked at as being better suited to UCLA's future in terms of analytics for supporting assessment of student learning, understanding of things like accessibility through add-on tools and other things that can be used to assess access to course material. It provides, as a software for a service, it provides through Instructure, the company that maintains Canvas, a 24/7 support relationship to UCLA, and many different ways to get support quickly, from chat within the platform to email, and to phone support as well. It's cloud-based, providing some more sort of scalability, reliability, and performance enhancements over what we could do with an in-house platform, at least the way it's structured so far. It's widely used for these and other reasons across the UC and CSU system, in the California community colleges, and in many high schools. And so it's a familiar platform, certainly for students coming in and for transfer students in particular, but also increasingly for faculty that are teaching at multiple locations as well, and offers some opportunities for kind of a convenient transfer of knowledge and course content. Then one thing that we wanted to mention, somebody sent me a chat message to make sure that I mentioned also that you can see from Ava's demonstration that the calendar and dashboard provide students with an experience across all of their courses, or within a course, that allows them to get a summary of what is happening and what both they have to do, but what's going on in the course. And things like that are the types of services across the platform that we think provide a significant benefit to the campus. And so we can happily talk about more of those details if it would be helpful, but just wanted to share that slide from before. Looks like there's another question in the chat.
Great. What about integration with iClicker? Is there a way in Canvas to replace iClicker in lectures?
So I was just starting to type an answer, but it's probably faster for me to just do it this way. There are a lot of options for replicating an iClicker experience for students in Canvas. One of them would be to use iClicker. The other one would be to use a variety of different sort of live polling tools that can connect with Canvas also, so that you can get the same just in real-time responses from the students. So that, I think that's easily done.
All right. Would Poll Everywhere integrate with Canvas?
So again, Poll Everywhere is a live polling tool. So is Mentimeter. There are a number of them, and yes, you would. It would depend on what exactly you wanted to do. There are a variety of ways to integrate these tools into Canvas. There would be a sort of basic integration where you just kind of host them within the viewable area of Canvas, and there might be a deeper integration that software community could look into if you wanted to attach grades and things like that.
All right. When students upload a video to a discussion post, is there a video recording feature integrated into Canvas, or is it just uploading a video file recorded elsewhere?
So both are available. A lot of language classes have actually, especially during the last year, used the discussion forum as a way to have students submit recordings of themselves in the target language, just like what I ate for breakfast or something. Short little videos that you can use the Canvas recording function to record that and post it to discussion. Of course, the other alternative to that would also be that Kaltura is integrated with Canvas, and you can record in Kaltura as well if you wanted to upload a video that way. And lastly, if you did want to do the video on your phone or some other practice that you're used to as a student, you could do that and then upload it. So all those are available.
Right.
Okay. We don't seem to have any other questions. You could still type in your questions, but just want to reiterate that we will provide the slides and the recording after this session. If you have any questions or any ideas or recommendations for us, please reach out. We have a Slack channel. We have an email address that will be part of the deck that we would love to hear from you. And if you have recommendations for future town hall topics, also please share with us. Thanks again for joining us this morning. Oh, there's another question. Great.
Yes, can you clarify whether Gradescope is being integrated or whether it's merely being considered at this time?
That might be an Ajit question.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's definitely on the list.
Yes.
It is on the list,
Process.
yeah.
Yes.
So that's on the list for consideration, just to,
Yes.
yeah. And so I think next time we will bring our spreadsheet of LTI integration review status with us to the next town hall, so that when folks have questions, we can be a little bit more specific in each case. So it is very helpful to get the questions and feedback in Q&A about what you're looking for. And so this is super helpful as well.
And we hear you on Gradescope. A lot of people feel the same way. So.
All right. Next up, the speed grader look like it has a great feature where the learning objectives for each activity is identified in a grid. Can you say or show more about that? That seems like a wonderful tool to encourage all of us to make such objectives explicit for the students.
Yeah, so that's the rubric function that I was showing you. The difficulty with showing you more depth is I need student data to do that. I mean, like I'm gonna be too close right now with all these people in town hall to show the grade books in detail. And the only grade book I have is kind of a demo site that we use to train faculty, and it doesn't have much data in it. But yeah, the rubric function was what I was showing, and you can write learning objectives and attach points to them and goals to them. And so that then the students, when they see any assignment and the faculty sees the assignment, everybody can be aligned on what the purpose and the goals are. And so that makes, especially in really large classes, it's a really great way to make grading consistent and fair across 500 students and have everybody know what's going on and what they're supposed to be doing. So yeah, it's a great feature, and you can, like I said, save the rubrics that you make. You can move them around to different assignments, or even save them in a different way and have them apply across all your courses if you like, or even across all your whole department or unit. If there are some basic rubrics that you wanted to apply to, say, student writing, you know, or something like that. And if you want to get in touch with me, I can try to do a deeper analysis of
All right, shall we make a last call here for questions, and then we'll wait just a minute, and then we'll wrap up the town hall. Thanks, everyone. Okay, still a few coming in. Question about instruction. What instructional design services are made freely available to faculty? So I can try to answer this and see how the team might fill it in as well. So the general thought is the same way that individual academic units might consult and provide support across all the aspects of the creation of the course, from translating the instructor's objectives into tool selection, course design, creating some supporting multimedia materials, even potentially helping pursue, at this stage especially, integration of a specific tool or approach that might be being considered. All of those things are the type of scope that we're considering. And so the more challenging question is, if many people across the campus are looking for those resources, how we help to sort of break down and divide up the need across the central project, the individual academic unit resources, which vary quite a bit from unit to unit, and prioritize them across the year. And so that's part of the exercise that we're in now. The reason for the Course Journey app is for us to get a sense of demand for those types of services. And it's just the first cut at understanding how many faculty are interested in making substantial adjustments or adding new things to the courses. And then from there, we'll try to dig into the specific services that are available. But the idea is, I think if I'm not speaking out of turn, Ava, is sort of a full service instructional design consultation, and then figuring out how to prioritize support for the work on the course. As far as a recharge scenario, I think we're not looking at that right now. That's really something that might be part of the sustained teaching and learning support model that would come after the conclusion of this project, which is a topic of many discussions at various levels as well. And is really, I think, Lucy, if I'm correct, we're looking at kind of for after fall 22. And so I don't know if Lucy wants to elaborate on that, or Ava, but that's my attempt at the answer.
Absolutely. I think we definitely don't want to go through this implementation and stop innovating and improving what we do. So part of the support model, we're thinking about how to, from IT perspective, partner with teaching and learning leaders on campus and identify a way to continuously support our faculty and our students with introducing innovative tools and ways of support, whether it's from technology perspective or teaching and learning. And that's part of the project. We're really taking our time to really think through how do we best support the campus beyond this implementation as well.
Next question, when you evaluate the success of your online hybrid courses in the future, which data are you planning to collect to make the evaluation effective?
I can try to answer. So I think just to be clear, the intent is that, like CCLE, Canvas would support not just online and hybrid courses, but all courses on the campus. And so that may, it may just be a platform for faculty to provide material or asynchronous modules to students that are even in fully in-person mode. And so in terms of data that's being gathered to make the evaluation, I think the evaluation of the program team is one thing. I think what we're also considering is what's the data that can be made available to faculty and to academic units and leadership on the campus to evaluate those courses. And that's a quite broad discussion about the types of data that's available, and might be a good topic for a future town hall to kind of go through analytics capabilities, the data that's being gathered, the considerations involved in evaluating the courses. But I think there are many levels of evaluation, and I'm not sure which one the person asking the question is interested in. So if you'd like to elaborate, that would be great. Or maybe Lucy and Ava could talk a bit about their perspective as well.
Yeah, I can say something about this. So I think I've been involved in my time as being an instructional designer in a lot of evaluations of courses on a lot of different levels. Some long-term studies of certain student populations and how they do relative to face-to-face courses and things like that. But in just on a sort of like individual course level, we also, as instructional designers, usually sit down with the faculty after the course is run and kind of go through a kind of debrief of like, what do you think worked and what didn't work? And we look at some student data and compare, student achievement, just to make sure that there aren't changes that we could make that would, be helpful to the next run of the course. So that would be one aspect. And then, as Jeff was saying, there is a lot of bigger data that we can pull out of the course, or a course that's run 5 times, say, and sort of get some information that way if you're looking for that kind of analysis. And that can be done in conjunction with, sort of Casey and Mark's, assessment office. There's a variety of things we can do. So we're looking at all those.
All right, great. If we want to learn more about Canvas, are there any how-tos or live Canvas sites or videos that we should start to look at?
So Canvas's parent company is called Instructure, And if you go to instructorcanvas.com, they have a ton of materials. And there's also something called the Canvas community, which is all the universities around the world using Canvas. They post questions and answer questions. And there are a lot of videos there too, just on little things like, how does Canvas work? Or how do I set up a gradebook? Or what is a module? And they're very short and they're well done. Canvas is used by K-12 as well. So some of the materials may seem a little more K-12y on their website, but the basics of how it works and what it does are there. And so I would encourage you in the meantime, if you're curious, to go look through some of that. And I'm sure we can send out a link to those. I don't have a way to do it right now, but.
And program specific training is coming soon, UCLA specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next month.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.